Hi, thanks so much for joining me for this Get Ready With Me. As promised, I said I would be doing at least once a month a look inspired by a fragrance by Chanel, one of their Les Exclusifs fragrances, which I have several of. I've been testing them out and I wanted to feature this one. This one is Bel Respiro, and there are very particular notes in here that inspired this look, from the base products to the eye. Pretty much the whole look was inspired by Bel Respiro. I'll be talking about the notes, kind of what the wear is like on me, what I sense in this fragrance. I definitely get a visual in my mind when I smell these fragrances. So I hope that you enjoyed this series. I'm going to try to do, and like I said, every month. And I did want to say a huge thank you to those of you who have recently subscribed. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you have subscribed since the beginning, I really appreciate it. And if you have not yet subscribed, I would really love it if you would. I can see how many viewers we have and how many are not subscribed. So if you're one of those people who comes back time and time again and has not yet subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you did. It would make a huge difference. And again, thank you for those of you who have continued to support this channel. But if you'd like to see how this look came together, please keep watching. So we'll just get the fragrance here. So this one, again, is Bel Respiro, and I looked up the translation online and there are lots of different iterations of it. So very direct translation for Bel Respiro is nice breath, but I think it means more than that. There's also a definition of beautiful breath. To me, this is more of like a breath of fresh air after a winter. I feel like we're coming out of that wintry cold stage. Hopefully it's warming up where you are. It's definitely warming up where we are, and it's a nice introduction into spring. So Bel Respiro, let me just spray this. And I love more green scents. This is one of the reasons I chose this as a full bottle. And there's still so much in here because I just do a very light spray. I don't like to wear too much fragrance, just enough so that I can smell it. We're going to build a look based on this fragrance. Kind of the inspiration behind the look is this fragrance. So what I like about this is that it's not just a green scent. There is definitely, and they're very soft, leathery kind of note. So what we're going to do is build the base with that base in mind. Okay, let's just put it back there for now just to even it out, but we'll continue to talk about the fragrance. So that's what I get. It's definitely green, but you pick up on something else that's really anchoring it. So out of all of the Chanel base products I could think of, I thought this would be really nice, the SUBLIMAGE L'Essence de Teint. So this has a more like a suede-like finish on the skin. I'm going to try not to powder here today. We're going to take this though, because we're not powdering the base Mattifying, the Perfecting Makeup Primer. It's the mattifying one, and it was my favorite primer of the year. And that'll hopefully help keep this down. I was just checking if I have both my earrings on. I do. So let's go ahead and just apply that here in the center between the brows. Yeah, I'm not applying this everywhere. I'm not oily everywhere. I'm just oily in the middle here, especially towards the more warm months. So just gonna apply that. This SUBLIMAGE L'Essence de Teint is in B40. I am BD41 for my ideal match. So it's a little bit more neutral and a little bit lighter than my skin tone. We're going to go in with a light layer though. So this look is definitely inspired by that. I had a nice visual image in my mind of what this would look like based on especially what I have in my makeup. I don't like to call it a collection because I'm not collecting makeup, I'm using the makeup, but of the Chanel makeup that I have, I thought of a really lovely look. So hopefully you have a lot of these products too that you can use if you want to recreate this. It's really light. It does have that beautiful like suede-like finish. It's not shiny, it's not matte, but it's somewhere in between, very skin-like. And I noticed when I've watched Chanel makeup artists, they don't put a lot of makeup on. They just put enough, just what's needed. And I love that about the Chanel approach to makeup, at least their base products. Sometimes they will get editorial with the eyes, lips, cheeks, of course. So this is the shade right here. It's kind of the shade of the back of my hand. But in terms of the base products, they usually stay really natural, which I also like. That's why I think they make some of the best foundation products out there, because that is the aesthetic they're going for. In fact, I was looking back on the campaign for this product and I noticed they had a really natural look on the model's face in terms of letting the kind of the personality of the skin show through. Okay, and this is a very elegant foundation, just like the fragrance is also very elegant. Yeah, there's something really soft in there as well, kind of rounding out the fragrance. So we're also going to keep kind of a softness about this, but also there's that like sparkly nature to it with aldehyde. So we're going to incorporate that as well. So going in with the Chanel eye concealer here, I have mine in 40. Again, I'm around that shade, 40, 41. I don't stray too far from that. 50 tends to be a little bit too rich for me. Again, going in very lightly with the eye concealer, a little goes a long way. Also, moisturizing and prepping this area correctly really changes the behavior of this concealer. So the more hydrated I am under the eye, the better this tends to apply. If I wait too long after application of moisturizer, it can look a little bit dry, look a little bit thicker than when I have a really nicely moisturized area. A number 71 brush here. Oh, by the way, the foundation brush was a BK Beauty 101. So really quick base here. And then you can see my dark spots are hardly noticeable, but since I'm not powdering, which can lend a little bit more perfecting to the skin, I'm going to just go in with this color corrector in Pesche right on these dark spots. So this has a peachy tone to it. The last time I looked, when I compared it with something like the concealer, they appear to have similar, if not the same ingredient deck. So yes, very similar to just a concealer. It just has a lot of peach to it, which, you know, I love for color correcting. So just a little concealer there. And, you know, I love that skincare can really improve the overall makeup experience. I really have noticed that. Let me just get a concealer brush here. But it makes this part go so much faster that I don't have to cover up so much. Let's use this concealer brush. This is the BK Beauty 114. It's a little bit oversized for concealer. I wouldn't use this under my eyes, but I'm happy to use this in these larger areas because it really does a nice job of just quickly getting everything in place. I did use a peach down here, and that's mostly because I had some dark spots here that I don't really have anymore. It's just, I guess, out of habit at this point. So I'm going to take this concealer. This is BD41. I'm going to put this around my nose area, just a couple of dots here. You can see it's got a little bit more green to it, which is good. And that's actually quite nice for any red areas, just to balance that out. So peach tone for the dark spots, and then something more with it's not a green tone, but it definitely has a greener tone than the peach for any areas with redness. So you can see I just did some light concealing right in this area, and that's it. We're gonna stop there with foundation though, because I like that suede-like finish right now. Let's go in with eyebrows. I really like the Baby Blade by Victoria Beckham. This one is in Taupe, so let me just do that really quickly. So the idea I get when I hear this Bel Respiro or nice breath or beautiful breath, to me it's more like a breath of fresh air, and to me it means lighter makeup, although I haven't been wearing a whole lot of makeup in general, but just to lighten up on things like powder products. We've got here the Le Beige, and this one is the medium shade. This one is in 392. I have all three shades, but I choose this one as the best one for me because of course it's medium. I'm medium toned. Also the tone is really nice. The other one that is lighter is cooler, and the one that's deeper is just really deep for me. So I like this one, and we're going to just take this as I don't even think this is a bronzing brush, but it's a 115 by BK Beauty, and we're just going to go in really gently just to build some very soft dimension. So again, keeping with that soft element. Yeah, there's something in there that really is rounding out that overall impression. I'm trying to think exactly how to describe it. I wouldn't call it a sweetness, but it's almost like a ripeness. Maybe that's what it's hinting at. Now there is the tendency for it to smell a little bit like fresh laundry, but I like that, but it's like a riper fresh laundry scent, if that makes sense. Maybe laundry that's been sitting there a little bit. I don't know if that's an actual note that anyone else would ever describe, but I'm just gonna go here really fast. Just taking the excess into the crease here. I'm not going to actually put too much of a crease shade in there, so just a little bit of a dimension. But you can see we're keeping things very, very soft, just like this fragrance. Okay, so let's go ahead and just clean up the eye area really fast. I am enjoying this eye brightener from Sweed. Area, you can see it just brightens. So that's that hint to the brightness, the aldehydes here. Very subtle though. And then we're going to go in with this just to cancel some redness. You know, if you've been here before, I take this product. It's an eyeshadow pencil. Eyeshadow, what do we call it? Crayon. And this is Trench. And this is by Victoria Beckham. Just canceling this out. So sometimes I'll use Clay to Pose. Concealer is excellent for this, but also I'll use this in a pinch. Just take Trench into that inner corner to lift it and bring it out. Okay, let's go in with this. So I thought this would be interesting. I have to say I wasn't planning on filming this one today, but my husband bought me these beautiful flowers and actually reminded me a lot of Bel Respiro. So you've got the green there and then you have some pops of brightness, and it made me think also of this palette. So we're going to use this as a base. We're going to use this color here as a crease. So let me see. This color, I'm going to put this in the crease. This is where that nod to the aldehydes comes in, a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of lightness, brightness. And I'm going to just go on the lid here. I'm just gonna take that right there, go onto the lid. Just so we have a little, just slight dimension. Now this is the part with the green. I love this shadow. I just feel like I haven't really used it to its potential, but I think it's so beautiful. So this is the 222 Jade Facette by Chanel. I'm going to add that to my lid here. So let's just take a little bit first, see how this goes. But when I smelled Bel Respiro, it really made me think of this particular eyeshadow that I had because it's so green. Now, Sycamore also has a green element to it for sure, but it also is more like a more serious kind of green. This one is a little bit more whimsical. Sycamore makes me think of blurry green. So if you remember that palette, it's got a lot more rich tones in the greens. It's definitely not a green like this. Like this green has a little bit of blue in it as well. Really pretty, sophisticated, but still a bit whimsical. So I'm gonna add that just really lightly to the lids. So it's very subtle, but it's definitely there. And I feel like with Bel Respiro, it's not the only note that you sense. In fact, it settles down quite a bit once you have it on for a little bit. But I'm gonna go ahead and add some mascara. I haven't found my favorite Chanel mascara. You know, I tried this one, this Révolution de Chanel Le Volume. I feel like, should I try it? Maybe I should try it again. I'm afraid because the last time it did not go well, and you let me know you had the same experience. It was just kind of clumpy and lumpy and it sticks lashes together. But I'm gonna clean off this brush again. By the way, I've been using that Obagi lash serum and it really has made a nice difference. But let's see if we get any. No, it's still not good. Okay, let me just, I don't know, I think it will be better this time. Maybe I thought because it's a little bit older, it just is not great. So I need to get the other volume mascara by Chanel. Yeah, not happy with that. Okay, so let's go in with what we did last time, taking this Dior mascara, and I'm gonna have that help me separate this and kind of fix it. So this is the Dior Show. And then I'm going to go in with another mascara on the side, the Chantecaille, the Faux Lash. Added mascara. This over here is Faux Lash mascara by Chantecaille. It's my favorite mascara and I've been on the hunt for my favorite Chanel mascara. I just have not landed on anything. So I had to combine that with the Dior mascara. So I've got to try the other volumizing mascara because you've let me know that that one's better. But we're gonna go in here with a little bit of color. So we have just very gentle, ethereal kinds of tones going here. I wanna anchor this a little bit with some solid color here. We're going to go in with Rose Radiant. This is by Chanel. I'm just going to do a pop of color here, right here. This is a little bit cooler. It's a very skin-like quality to it, really natural. Now we're going to go in with this palette again. This is the Chanel palette Jouer de Lumière, their multi-use eyeshadow and highlighter palette. So I do love that about it. So I'm going to take this color, which I've been using as a blush, and I'm going to apply that on top. So we're going to do slight color correcting here. Even though it's like a pinkier tone, it still has a peachiness to it. It's going to blur a little bit here. Just going to stipple it like this so I'm not moving things around. And then you can see how it just has a beautiful spring-like appearance to it. I love pairing this color with other blushes. It's so beautiful. I think it makes other blushes look even prettier. I've had products like that before, but I can't recall at this moment exactly what they were, but I know I've done this before with other similar type products that have a beautiful subtle glow that just bring things together. Because as much as I love that other color, it was going to be too much to put in the front here. Plus this will bring out the dimension of the cheekbones right here in the front. Give a nice three-dimensional shape. That's that little bit of floral that's in there. Maybe that's the like the ripe floral. To me, this brings in a little bit of the floral. Kind of reminds me of the flowers in the back there. That's a beautiful flower. I don't even know what that is, but that's kind of what I'm going for right here. Really beautiful. Yeah, so just that effervescent feeling with those aldehydes. We're going to take this and put this in the inner corner. And I feel like that hints at a more whimsical aspect to this fragrance because of that, like, that sparkle. Okay, I'm just gonna go down the nose with this as well, the bridge of the nose. I'm also going to add this to the Cupid's bow. Let's add a lip that's going to kind of bring this together. And this is more of like a, I always thought this was more of a spring lip, but I believe this came out in winter last time. This is the Rouge Coco Baume 940 Cocoon. And this is not the new shine version of it where it's got more of a glossy element. This is a little bit more tempered. So it's again hinting at that suede kind of element in this fragrance. Okay, so in the spirit of Bel Respiro, I just put my hair up kind of in an undone, kind of a low bun there. I just put a few hairpins in, put some of the little strands of hair out here. Yes, I definitely thought this hair was appropriate. And because Bel Respiro is inspired by Gabrielle Chanel's country house, and this was situated on the outskirts of Paris and surrounded by crisp grass and verdant fields. It says this tender romantic fragrance evokes its bucolic lightness. And I feel like that's what I was really going for here. Something light, something effortless, but still with a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of interest with that green. And I remembered saying that I thought that there was like a ripe scent to this. And what I think that's coming from is the galbanum. So galbanum is a musky kind of element, and I think that's what's coming through in the middle there. It says it has a disagreeable bitter taste, a peculiar somewhat musky odor, and an intense green scent. So I think that's also what's rounding out the fragrance. So as you can see here, we went in with that, let's look at the notes. I didn't even read the notes. I mean, I've looked at them before, but let's read the notes again for Bel Respiro according to the Chanel site. It features green aromatic notes of galbanum and rosemary, and the scent conjures the essence of spring and it's fresh grass. I think it's very appropriate now as we are coming upon spring. Okay, circling back to the entire sentence, kind of broke it up there. Featuring the green aromatic notes of galbanum and rosemary, the scent conjures the essence of spring and its fresh grass emerging foliage and gentle breezes. So starting with that base piece, the more suede-y, leathery note, that is definitely in there. It's tucked in there, it's very subtle, but I thought the base product with this Sublimage L'Essence de Teint was the perfect finish for this, especially because I did not powder. You can see it has that satiny finish to it, nothing too glossy, also not matte. So had I gone in with something like this one, which you know I love, it's more perfecting though. The Ultra Le Temps has more of a matte finish, which I think would not have evoked the same effortless kind of quality as this does, which I think really aligns with something like the image of owning a country home, something that doesn't take much time, something very natural. And then with the green, those little pops of green there with the green elements like rosemary, beautiful Jade Facette on the lids. I was glad I was able to pull that out and be able to use it again. I'm looking down so maybe you can see it, but it's very subtle. Of course you can build it up, but I like it like this. Just a little hint of green there. And then that effervescent quality when it comes to the aldehydes, just a little bit of a glow, and then that floral element in the cheeks and also in the lip. So I really enjoyed that. I feel like I test out so much makeup, but I really like this idea of pulling a look together based on a fragrance, because it's really inspiring to go back to the products I have, because you didn't see anything new here today. I really like going back to what I have, maximizing that. So I hope, because I know many of you have so many of these products, I hope that this is helpful in kind of rediscovering what you have, reimagining what you have, and different ways to use them so you can get the most out of your purchases, because that is one of the goals of this channel, is to really use the products that you purchase so that it's not just one other thing that's purchased and just sits there. My hope is that you use and love all these products that you have picked up. So I hope this was inspiring to you, and maybe to check out the Les Exclusifs fragrances if you were interested in them. But also, if you've not been here for my vlogs, I also include things like clothing, accessories, shoes, you name it, other things besides beauty that I also have the goal of using often, purchasing infrequently, but when I do purchase, they are very high quality and things that I plan to wear over and over again for essentially a lifetime. So if you like that idea, please make sure to come back for vlogs and let me know if you want it to be a sit-down video. I'm looking at my rack of clothing here. I have several Chanel items here. Many of them are pre-loved, which I also enjoy doing because I feel like I'm giving them an additional life to the first one that they had. So really like finding those little treasures that can be still worn today and are timeless. That's another key, it's timeless. So let me know if you'd like to see that in a sit down video. Otherwise you'll see those things more in a vlog, but just let me know. I would be happy to do that. I love curating my wardrobe, but also getting my use out of the things that I buy. That's really satisfying to me. So please let me know if you'd like to see that. And thank you again so much for subscribing. The goal is to get to 25,000 hopefully very soon, because we are very close to that. So I appreciate all of the likes, the comments, and again for answering each other's questions. It's also really helpful. Thank you so much for doing that. So let me know which one you'd like to see next. I have several of them if you tuned in before. I have I think 11 out of the total amount that you can try. So let me know which one you would like to see next. But that is it for today's video. So please take care of each other. Stay well. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you again so much for subscribing. Not prescribing. And thank you again so much for subscribing.